It's time once again to slip into your camo, grab your bow, and join us out in the field for another episode of the Up North Journal, presented by PSE Archery. The Up North Journal crew is knocked and ready to rock for another exciting adventure. So let's step outside and hit the trail.
This episode of the Up North Journal podcast is brought to you by PSE Archery,
Carbon Express,
Fourth Arrow Camera Arms,
Wind Scent Hunting Sense,
Killer Food Plots, Seeds, Supplements, and Attractants,
Cabela's,
Spot Shooters,
Limb Walker Game Calls,
Twisted Minds Bowstrings,
Hunter's Blend Coffee,
Antler Action,
and Family Traditions Tree Stand.
And don't forget you can catch us in syndication at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on goodtalkradio.com.
Welcome back to another episode of the Up North Journal.
No, not just another episode.
Yeah.
500th episode.
500.
Congratulations, my friend.
Thanks, man. You know, I do want to say thank you to our viewers. This is the 500th time of the Up North Journal podcast. We're at ATA 2019 here in Louisville, Kentucky. I've sat here and done this for the 500th time.
Yes, you have. Actually, we'll go a little bit more. There's been a couple extra takes.
Yeah.
There's been a few bumps.
Yeah, there's been a few bumps along the way.
But you made it. You made it to 500.
Yeah, it's...
You started in 07 with you and Mikey sitting right next to you, probably at a little table with a tin can and a string.
That's how we did it when I was a kid.
Oh, okay, sorry.
When I was podcasting before it was cool. Man, I'm starting to tear up a little bit here. It's an emotional day for me.
Well, it should be, because you've been through...
Hell and back?
Okay, you said the word. I didn't know if I could go to there, but
yeah,
you've been to hell and back.
Yeah.
Actually, you've been to hell, came back, went back to hell, and now you're back. But 500 show, there is not many podcasts out there that have achieved what you have.
No. There's some that's tried, and I give kudos to all of them. I mean, I'm not trying to knock anybody, but we went through a lot. We went through a learning process, and I couldn't think of a better place to have my 500th show than here. I mean, we're sitting in the PSE booth. They've invited us in to be a part of their ATA show.
Right,
and it's been incredible.
It started out with your first ATA show, just kind of roaming around, right? And it just
looking like a kid in a candy store, you know?
Right, and now we've been invited to the booth to set up the cabin, to have interviews. We've got some bugs there that hopefully next year we work out. But for the 500th episode to be basically what you love anyways, archery, at the Archery Trade Association for your 500th show, it shows you, it shows the listeners, it shows other people in the industry that at the 500th episode, go look for somebody who's done it on a regular basis, pretty much. I know there's some out there that they say, oh, I've done thousands, but you got to understand that to get to 500 the way you did is amazing.
I appreciate it, man. And I couldn't do it without good people like you helping me out. I mean, you crossed that 200 episode threshold this past year.
Yep.
So
and
you're no rookie at this.
No, you're absolutely right. I used to be like nervous and all, especially doing interviews when talking with these guys, with Bobby and even Dan at some point. But to be sitting here with a guy that's taken Up North Journal 500 times is it's awesome. You can hang your hat on that and tell everybody, I've got 500. It's like the Daytona 500, right? And matter of fact, it's the ATA show, which is kind of like the Daytona 500 of archery. But you crossed the finish line at this one in 2019 with 500.
Like I said, I couldn't have done it without you sitting in the chair. I couldn't have done it without Mikey bringing me this dream of his as a 12-year-old kid one day. And, I didn't have a clue as to what podcasting was. And I started learning, and he wanted to start this up, and we did, and I got to thank my dad, man.
Yeah,
he's the one that gave me the passion for this.
Absolutely, and that's what it takes to get to 500. Some think they have the passion, and all of a sudden, before you know it, before they even started, they're gone.
Yeah,
but you've done it. You in that shows so much of your passion for this.
Yeah.
And I've watched you do things with the stuff that you've gained, I want to say materials, the programs, everything. You've put it all together and you've made it 500 times.
And hopefully there's another 500 in us.
You know what? And you just haven't sit on your laurels of a podcast saying we're just going to do this, 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 and this. Look, we've gone to the point where we're doing a Facebook Live,
right?
And we're doing a live thing. And that's tougher than anything because we can't edit.
Right.
So,
although this one today, due to what's going on around here with the internet, we're actually recording the live version of this for those of you who are actually sitting down watching. They just don't give us what we need here to be able, internet-wise, to be able to pull it off on a continuous, successful base. So then rather than just have it drop out continually and try to start again, we just decided we're just going to record them today, last day here, and just get it done.
That's it. That's part of it. You recognize that and said, you know what, let's make a decision. Let's not do that because we're thinking of the people who listen and the viewers, right? We don't want you to sit there and all of a sudden have the wheel spinning.
Right, exactly.
And it's like, well, that was wonderful. But,
right,
dude, awesome to make it to 500.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And like I said, my dad gave me this passion when I was a kid. And we've never had him on the show. I've tried.
Yeah, he doesn't want to come on there.
He's very reluctant. And, now he's not in the area. He's moved south. And, this year was a tough year. It's the first year I've hunted without him the entire year.
Yep.
We never spent time in the field together, so that was tough. But it helps you to be able to step out on your own and face new challenges throughout life. There's many things that, like I said, adversity that we faced. And, it's just, a little podcast that we're doing our thing, trying to share the good word with everybody, show them how we do things, how we mess up.
Yeah, it's not
success,
perfect.
Teaching new people things. Now my passion's into deer management, land management, and habitat, and it's pretty cool being here today.
That's awesome, man. You know what? Congratulations again.
Thanks. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's go ahead. We're going to take our first break, and we're going to step outside where there might be a little snow. We don't know yet.
Right.
There was a little bit when we came in, but we're hoping it melts off before we go home today. But stay tuned because we got some really cool interviews coming this way for this episode, which is also our 200th live stream, even though this one's going to be recorded.
Right.
But, yeah, it's going to be a pretty cool day. So stay tuned. We'll be right back after this.
PSE Archery has reinvented the way you buy bows.
From now on, you can make the most educated decision possible
by basing your bow choice specifically on your shooting needs and goals.
All you need to do is ask yourself, what kind of shooter am I? What do I want to achieve?
PSE will help find the right category for you.
So, what kind of shooter are you?
Find out at PSEArchery.com.
Welcome back. Second segment of the show.
Second segment of the 500th show.
Of the 500th show. And look who steps in. Mr. Efforts himself from PSE, good friend of Pete Shepley. Bill, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. Thank you very much.
We had a chance to talk to you last year, and you kind of give us some insight into your background in hunting and what you do. But you were just talking just a little bit ago. Grand Slams on turkey. How many?
17th. I completed 17th Grand Slam at turkey hunting this year, and I won the 6-time national team championship in the IBO. So it's been a great year for me. And 3 record book bucks. With our PSE. So it's been a great year for me.
3 record book bucks from where?
One in Ohio, one in Texas, and one in Oklahoma.
Man,
you put a lot of miles on.
We do. Sometimes you want to see a beach, and it seems like that never happens,
right.
But it's part of our life. I'm very blessed. I've been with PSE 43 years. I've been with Mossy Oak for going on 25 years. So, I got some great sponsors, some of the best in the industry, and it's not that I'm a better hunter than anybody else here in this building, but I work at shooting a bow and arrow set, and I'm very passionate in what I do.
Passionate. That's what we see throughout the whole ATA is people that are here. I mean, the passion that goes into what they do, what they believe, and getting out and getting the job done. I mean, go back to the Grand Slam. 17. You're talking 17. And last year, it's all in a year's time.
And the good thing is, and now, you don't have to kill all the 4 species of turkeys in the same year. I have in a lot of years. But it's getting harder and harder to take a Grand Slam of turkey. You got the Osceola, the Merriam, the Rio Grandes, and the Easterns. And the travel's, tough. And everybody asks me, I do seminars all over the United States, and everybody asks me what's the toughest one to shoot. And, and turkey's a turkey, but the problem is the places to hunt. Florida's one of the toughest places to be in. And then the Eastern here, Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, that's a tough bird to hunt because, the population, they get smart very quickly. And when you get out west on the Merriams or the Rios, they don't see a lot of the people. You see a lot of the ranchers feeding their cattle. And, of course, when they see a rancher and they feed their cattle, they know it's feed for them. So they're a little more, adaptable to human other than the Osceolas or the Easterns.
For such an ugly bird, they get smart quick.
They do. You put a little bit of pressure on them, they do get educated very quick. We see that up in Michigan where we're at. You blink. You just blink and they're gone. So.
And that's what makes it a challenge.
Absolutely.
And you and I talked. We talked earlier before the broadcast on how you're managing your deer herd, and just because I'm successful, year after year, we work at it all year long. All year long, you're planting food plots, you're placing tree stands, and it's an all year long process to make that shot. And this is one of the reasons I shoot tournament archery is because I don't want to miss when I get that shot.
You talked about that, the hunting side, and you shoot archery competitively. What's the mindset when you make that switch? Okay, I'm out in the woods. Now I'm going to go shoot competitively. Is it the same? What's the mind change up here that says to do that?
When you're shooting, one of the most pressure shots I ever made is when I won the world championship in the IBO, and you train all year, and it's not just your shooting ability, but I think it's your mental ability. Well, when I shot that last shot, I'll never forget, it's an antelope down the hill. It's like 37, 38 yards, straight down the mountain. And when I released that arrow, it felt like the whole earth come off my shoulders. And because, here's a world championship at stake.
Right, exactly.
And a guy that's behind me and we're shooting together, they put you in peer groups. This guy's breathing down my neck. If I shoot a 5 and he shoots an 8, he wins. Right. And it just so happened I shot 11 and he shot a 10 and I won. So, you got to be mentally prepared for it, not just physically, but mentally prepared. And when I deer hunt, I'm like that too. When I see there's hunters, and then there's a lot of people like to watch. Me, I'm not in there to watch. When I get that shot, I get in the zone, and I don't look at the rack. When first I see that rack, I know if I want to harvest this animal. I forget all about those horns. I'm looking for a spot to where I can make the shot, and then my shot placement. And that's a big, big deal. And I think mentally is a big process. Now, everybody asks me, you get nervous? Shoot, yeah. When you don't get nervous or you don't have that heart beating and that adrenaline going, it's time to quit.
Right. Yeah, that's what drives us. It's that passion.
It's exactly right. Everything you worked all year for, and here you're breathing hard, and here he comes, and you want that time, and that you're waiting for that shot opportunity. You get in that zone, and I think that's where I've been very successful and can excel in.
Looking at the way you prepare for hunting, also the passion and the work you put in, like food plots, scouting, hanging stands, trimming shooting lanes, setting up cameras, all that. What do you think, or what do you see, maybe as today's hunters, because you've had some experience in the field, but through these years, what do you think that probably the one thing that hunters now might overlook?
I don't think they prepare for it like I do. I shoot all year round. Mm-hmm. And the reason being is I want to keep my muscle toned. The older you get, the stiffer you get. Right. I want to keep my muscles loosened up. But again, I think it really, really your design of new equipment. And I've been with PSE 43 years, so I have seen stuff evolve amazingly. And Pete Shipley, the boss, he's an engineer. This guy's phenomenal. He's not only a personal friend, this guy is super intelligent, and he knows bow and arrow sets. Where a lot of these other companies, some of them presidents don't even shoot a bow. This guy does it. Him and I have both taken the Big Five in Africa, with a bow and arrow set. But the equipment, they're so different anymore. Knowing your equipment, getting your body in shape, getting your muscles in shape, and knowing your equipment, how it can carry, is a very, very big part. And your mental capability of just getting prepared for that shot.
And that's what you just said about Pete. Hands-on every day in the shop, busting butt, getting it done. And that's one of the things that his mental capability of being able to do that still every day, getting that, just like you pulling off that shot that you had. You got to practice it. It's just practice. But that little bit, that it's mostly mental to me, because it's just you just got. And we started shooting indoor leagues with Jim Beasley back in Michigan, and it's that just watching those guys shoot and
watching Dan Yasa shoot.
Yeah,
he's taught us so much.
Right,
he's one of the best, and it's knowing your equipment, mentally getting prepared for it, and again talking about Pete. This guy is a tremendous teacher. He's a tremendous teacher, and he is. And I've been very blessed in the 43. I do seminars all over the United States. I've taken a Big Five in Africa. I've taken the Stags, everything in New Zealand, and it's a big deal that. But without him, I wouldn't be in this industry. When I was a snot-nosed kid, I met Pete, and him and I just clicked, and we became friends. And 43 years later,
you're still best of friends.
He's part of my family.
There you go.
He's part of my family. And, his tractor trailer's been on my driveway. He flies helicopters. His helicopters landing in my driveway. And, he comes in there, and we're on each other all the time. We're pushing each other all the time. And that's what makes it fun, because he can relate to what you've been, because he's done it. This guy's done it. He's did the Big Five. He's did elk. He did it all.
You've done it all too, and you'll be going for your 18th Grand Slam at Turkey. Your hunting setup, what bow are you using?
To hunt with, I shoot the Carbonair. The Carbonair did very well for me. I like the grip. I like the lightness. I love the Evolve system. The Evolve cam system is hands down. I feel it's the best on the market. Now, tournament shoot with, I shoot an Expedite. It's a very fast bow. I'm not the smartest guy in the world on yardage, so I take all the advantage I can get.
There you go.
And what I do is, this bow is very, very fast, and I don't have to be as critical on the yardage. So, I let out some of my secrets, and that's the way it is.
Hey, I understand that.
I shoot big arrows. If I'm going to play the game, I'm very competitive. I was in school in sports, and I'm the same way in archery. I want to play the game and get all the edge I can in tournament shooting and in the hunting industry.
I don't blame you one bit. Take it right to that limit, and that's what makes you competitive. You just keep pushing. But
absolutely.
Well, Bill, appreciate you sitting down and talking with us.
Thank you guys very much.
It's been a pleasure.
Thanks.
And hopefully, next year we'll be able to hear about the 18th Grand Slam.
I hope so. Thank you for having me.
All right, take care. Sitting here in the PSE booth, and we just got done talking to Bill Epperts, talking about hunting, and who walks up? Denny Steiner. Denny, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank you. Good to be here. How you
Absolutely.
guys been?
He's also awesome, watches us on live Facebook and chimes in every once in a while.
Well, in my spare time, I sit in the chair in my showroom and do that a little bit. Not much, but...
Yeah, you have just a little bit of a showroom. And if anybody follows Denny Steiner on Facebook, you understand what we're talking about. Because it's huge.
Yeah.
I'm surprised there isn't a basketball net somewhere in there.
I wanted it for a long time. I'm pretty proud of it. I like showing it to people, and we've had probably 300 visitors.
How many years of mounts do you have in there? How long is...
50.
50 years of hunting is in that room.
Yeah. My first deer was in Missouri. First buck I ever saw on the hoof I shot.
Really?
And that was 51 years ago.
Okay.
And you've been killing ever since.
I do my best.
He just doesn't kill some animals. He kills some big animals as well.
Well, that's right. You know, and you say your first one was in Missouri. It's not just the United States. And the reason we got Denny here today is we want to talk about Africa, because you spend some time over there, and you're over and you took a giraffe and you took a Cape buffalo.
Yes, I was very fortunate to, I've gotten to know a lot of people over there, and I got an opportunity to take a Cape buffalo with a good friend of mine, Rossi, and it was quite an experience. We did the dragging the road with the tires and going in the next day and tracking, and we did the whole thing. And the second day, at the end of the day, we got ahead of them and had the opportunity, and I had 12 or 13 bulls 20 yards from me. I'd been at full draw for 8 minutes when they were so spooky that
they knew you were in town.
Yeah, they heard, somebody told them, they heard I had a PSE in my hand, and they were scared. And I drew back, and Rossi said, "That's too soon." And I said, "No, it's not. 85% let off."
Yeah, right.
I was on my knee, rested the bow on my knee, and waited. And this bull that I was wanting out of the herd, I could take 2 of them.
Okay.
So the one that I wanted finally made it up to the front, and I hit him here with an 800 grain 2-blade arrow. It went into his heart. He turned, everything ran the other way, went 60 yards, hit a tree, fell over dead.
Ran into a tree, and that was it.
That was it. The tree shook. He was on his side. I turned to look. Rossi's got my camera, and he's supposed to have a tripod. I gave him a tripod when we left the truck. Well, he took it off, and he was carrying the camera and his .458 rifle. He said, "How did that feel?" And I said, "I thought it felt pretty good. It looked good." The arrow disappeared. I turned around, and there's rifles laying in the dirt.
Uh-oh.
And he's got the camera up here.
Right.
I said, "What were you going to do if that thing came this way?" He said,
"Take pictures."
He said, "Don't worry, I'm not a crack shot with that anyway." That would have been good to know yesterday. So
thanks.
You know, it's one of those little pieces of information. Actually, be glad you didn't know it yesterday, because you might have been a little uneasy about that. But okay, so let me ask you this: when they're at 20 yards, and these are not small animals by no means.
No, they were 1,800, 2,000 pounds.
Literally, when they took off, the ground must have been shaking at that.
Yes,
that close.
and it's just it's dusty over there. It's always dry in June and July, but the ground shook, dust, fogging, and I was so relieved that it went that way.
Well, that's because it wasn't just like a single bull that could, you can look at coming, but if you got a group of them, you can't move out of the way.
Yeah,
so that's just.
And it got to be, I wanted to get pictures. I'm a big fan of getting pictures and getting quality pictures. And the sun's going to go down here shortly. And
this is the best part of the story. We heard this.
This is good. You're right.
All these bulls were standing around my bull, and I said, "Can we fire the gun in the air and they'll leave?" And Rossi said, "They may come to us. Too dangerous to go in. We got to wait." And I said, "We got to get pictures." So I took my PSE, held it above my head, and started walking toward those bulls. Dust, and they were gone. And I turned around and said, "Come on, you sissies, let's get some pictures." We got over there, and he said, "You really don't want to try that again."
Hey, it worked.
It worked that time.
Oh,
and like you said, and I've never been there, but I'm assuming there is no really big trees you can hide behind either.
There's nothing like that.
There you go. They just run it down.
You could hide behind a bush, and you might as well just hold your hand up.
That is awesome. What PSE were you using?
I was shooting a PSE Evo.
Okay, the Evo.
Yeah. And I had it tuned so that I could shoot an 800 grain arrow, take the sight off, leave everything else alone, take the sight off, put on my other sight for my whitetail rig, and shoot plains game.
Oh, okay.
So I was going from a 367 grain arrow to an 807 grain arrow, and just changing the sights.
That's tuning.
And when he said that the other day, I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, I'd never heard that before, but it makes sense.
The arrow was bigger, and it's set down in the wrist, not quite as far.
Right.
Everything worked out. I mean, I played with it.
Yeah. A drop away rest?
Yes.
Okay. So that goes to show you can use them multitasking. Just got to tune them in, and all he did was swap out a sight.
Yeah, and you don't have to take two bows. I was always a fan of taking two bows, and I haven't personally used my second bow because of breakage, but on 5 different occasions I've had somebody else use my bow when their bow broke or their string, or they'd be going out of the cabin and turn around and their buddy didn't have his arrow clear up in the quiver, and they'd cut the string, pop it, and he's already done, you know.
Right.
And
right. Accidents happen.
Anything can happen.
Yep. So now, the Cape Buffalo wasn't the only thing. I mean, you talked a little bit to us earlier about a giraffe and the process, because some of those animals over there, they get a bad rap when people go over and hunt. And for people that don't really understand what happens over in Africa with these bigger animals, explain a little bit about that process after you took that animal.
Well, you know, when you post stuff on Facebook and people have a little negative thing to say, my wife was the leader of that. She had frowny faces and that, and I said, we flew to Namibia, and they had a bull that was tearing up the younger bulls, and he needed to go. He was going to be gone, and it was an opportunity that I kind of wanted a giraffe, but didn't know what I'd do with it. Well, now I got the showroom, so I got the ceiling height, and I jumped at the opportunity. But you can't stalk a giraffe and get within 80 yards.
Really?
They're up, like the ceiling lights here, they're up there and they can see everything.
Right.
You know, if you're in a plane and you're looking down, however you can see everything, well, that's what he's doing
the same way.
Right.
So I went to a blind, and I had giraffes come in almost every day, but the bull would stay out. And I was supposed to shoot him before 2 o'clock so that they could get the men out there. They got to take it apart because it's 6,000 pounds. It's a big animal. It's got hooves. So it came in, and it was eating, and I had a young bull that I could touch his feet. And the wind was kind of iffy, and I kept thinking he's going to bust me. And he was getting a drink, and really, seriously, I'm 7 feet from the water hole, and that thing is a foot between my blind and that. And I'm in a ground blind, concrete, but have to shoot up. A warthog, you can shoot almost straight out, but the other animals you shoot up. And this giraffe, I learned that the best shot, because of the rib cage, is like 2x4s. And there's a rib this wide and this much
space between them, right?
And their heart is at the base of their neck. They got these 2 shoulder bones that stick out. You need to be above that, right in there. And I lucked out with a Cape Buffalo. I shot him in the front and got it through his heart. And this thing turned around and presented a shot. And I'm shooting up at an angle, and I'm thinking, okay, I got to hit that, so I have to be a little bit lower. I hit him and called for help, and he went a long ways.
Really?
I just missed his heart.
Oh, okay.
But the arrow went clear through, and it was in his stomach when we got him. And they had 13 tracker skinners out there, and they brought a trailer, refrigerated trailer.
Really?
Drove it out there to him. I did get to, I got there when he laid down his head the last time, you know, and so we got some pictures, and the guys started, what do you want to keep out of it? And I said, well, okay, I don't think it'll quite fit if I life-size it. I don't have that much money anyway, but they cut the cape off. They used trucks with winches to help pull the skin. The skin is very thick. Everything on a giraffe is thick and heavy. I mean,
built.
Yes, they're built. And they started taking that thing apart. They ended up, what was left over, they took the stomach lining and cut it in squares. They had little baskets that they put all this stuff in. They took all the intestine, the heart, the lungs. The only thing left on the ground when that thing was finished and in the trailer was the contents of the stomach and a piece of back skin. That's it.
They utilize everything.
They use every little bit of piece that...
They took everything, and I had heard that giraffe wasn't good. It's excellent.
Really?
It is. And this is an old bull. And another guy, a buddy from South Africa, told me that the best meat over there was a female giraffe.
Okay.
Who knew?
Right?
I thought zebra and eland were the two top, but giraffe's right up there.
But that's the thing that a lot of people don't know is, they eat everything. They utilize these animals.
They do.
Nothing's wasted.
When any animal, and impala, they love for you to shoot impala because they'll take the whole stomach, leave the contents in there and boil it.
Really?
I mean, yeah, I don't know about that.
But they'll use it.
But they use it. I mean,
they do it.
These villages, they utilize that food.
And the guys at the skinning, they usually have a lot of workers that they take good care of. I mean, they house them and feed them, and they got their clothing there, and they got medical. So the people working on the ranches are very well taken care of, and they get all the meat they want, and they can have any piece they want, but they end up taking some of the entrails because they love it.
Again, who knew, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But that goes to show you the myth out there that you go to Africa, you just shoot this. No, you shoot it for conservation. Like you said, this bull was tearing up the group.
Yes.
And needed to go. He needed to go, and he went and he supplied food for everybody out there that helped, right?
And the money from the hunt goes back into the conservation into the area.
Yes, they have a lot of trouble. Not particularly in Namibia. They do have poaching there, but South Africa has a big problem, and a lot of that money goes toward anti-poaching, and you can see it when you're over there. You can see helicopters flying over, and they're very clearly marked. If there's a helicopter flying over your property, they can be shot.
Really?
Because they come in and sometimes they'll dart the rhinos, cut the horns off, be gone, and they'll do 3 or 4 or 5 whatever rhinos they can find. It's a big business.
Yeah.
And the little guys that are poaching using snares and stuff, they just sneak through, get an animal, get back out, take whatever they want of it. But
wow,
that helps. And you go to a grocery store, and there's beef in like an 8-foot cooler, and there's 200 feet of game meat, every kind of game meat. And if they make biltong out of anything, any scrap of meat, they hang it on the line and dry it, and they use some kind of a cure. But they use everything.
Well, and that's awesome. It's awesome, and it just goes to show that what a lot of people don't understand is what we see in the media is just not true. I mean, true conservation is happening. The animals are being utilized, and the money is going back into helping protect and preserve these herds.
And this, for instance, these people in Namibia, they feed 2 schools. Gemsbuck or oryx is their meat of choice, and they got a lot of them. And when I'm there, that's one of my favorite animals to shoot, because at breakfast time, Cara and the lady will say, "I need some meat." That means shoot 2 or 3 gemsbuck.
Oh, okay.
So, and they come at it. When you call them, they come out, and I got 3 of them laying there, and I get patted on the back when I go home, and the schools benefit. You get to eat the loins, usually, when you're in camp, and you get to eat part of every animal. I mean, I do. I ask specifically, anything I shoot, I want to have part of it.
Right.
They feed their workers. They feed those 2 schools. They have charities in Windhoek, the capital city, that they send meat to. And when they have too much, if they have a bunch of hunters in camp, it goes to a butchery. It gets sold to the butchery and then goes to the supermarket.
It's a win-win-win-win.
I don't see where there's a lose in there, right?
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Well managed, and well, we appreciate you taking some time with us today.
Well, thank you.
It's been a pleasure. We've talked on Facebook many times, but if you guys get a chance, go to Facebook, go to his Facebook page, and you'll see what we're talking about with the showroom.
Yeah, and yep, just check it out. It's pretty awesome. And real quick, going somewhere else? Next stop?
Next stop, I'd like to go to Australia, but I've got a group going to Africa this year, actually, June.
You gonna go with them?
I'll take a group of 4.
Okay.
And then there's 2 other guys that want to go later, so it may be my first year of going twice.
Okay. There you go. But he's heading back to Africa.
Got to do what you got to do.
That's right.
That's right.
But just please, don't go shaking bows at Cape Buffalo.
Right, exactly.
We want you to come back. So I tell you what, we're going to step outside, take a quick break, and we'll be right back after this.
PSE Archery has always dominated the speed category. Now, the most revolutionary cam system ever to hit the market has perfected the shooting experience. Introducing PSE's Evolve cam system, featuring extremely high let-off capabilities and the smoothest draw cycle in history. No other cam system has ever delivered this level of total comfort and total control. Experience PSE. Experience performance.
Welcome back. We are live at the ATA 2019 Louisville, Kentucky PSE, and Mr. Shepley himself stopped by to talk with us.
You can call me Pete. I don't answer to Mr.
Well, okay.
we do
got
because
that out of the way really quick.
Good.
Besides, we've got so much respect for you, and what you've done for the industry is just something that is, you know what? I got to hand it to you. From everything that I hear about you being in the shop every day, hands-on kind of guy.
We're there.
That, you know what? That shows what passion you have for this sport.
Yeah, I love it. It's 49th year for PSE, and I've shot tournament archery since 49. So I've been around a long time. I don't think anybody in this room has been in it longer than I have. So, but anyway, glad to be here.
Well, we just started doing a little bit of target archery. Danny and I mean, we're primarily hunters, but Dan Yassa, your best salesman this year,
and a great shooter,
and a
very good
awesome shooter,
and a great coach. Yeah,
has been schooling Danny and I.
Yeah,
so
good.
We've picked up the target game, but you know, we're learning it. So, talk a little bit about target archery right now. I mean, where does that stand in the grand scheme of things in archery?
Well, I think there's several organizations in target archery. USA Archery, the 3D stuff, IBO and things like that. I think they do a really good job. The problem is they're not big enough.
Okay.
And it's difficult for them to grow. I think they need way more help from the industry, because we need, I don't think you can put names on 30,000 target archers in this country. And there's 3.2 million bow hunters, or at least there were, for a long time. But I've always said to people that you could take and start 10 people in target archery, and 9.9 of those people will go bow hunting. You start 10 people bow hunting, and none of them are going to go into target archery. It's just kind of the way it works, So we've done a lousy job. The industry's done a lousy job of selling target archery, and that's where we need to go. It's hard to get people in target archery. You're almost too old, and you're already too old, and I'm too old. But
Thanks.
Because people look at it that way, we need the grade school and high school kids in this game.
Absolutely.
And that's where it's at, and we don't get enough of them. So, most of these organizations are underfunded, and they're not throwing near enough money at them. We need Pittman Robertson money, tax that we pay in the bows, 11%. We need a lot of that money to go after that. Now the NASP program gets some of it, but we've got very poor conversion of kids in school into archery after school. So the S3DA's got some traction. Jenny's doing a good job, but it's still slow going because she doesn't have a lot of backing. But she's getting traction now, and the S3DA, Scholastic 3D Archery, is doing pretty good. But we need way more. This industry, has been decimated because of what Obama did to getting everybody to buy guns. Nobody bought bows for 5 years, so that's that's why it's in pretty tough shape. And everybody in this room, no matter what they say, they are. So we need to grow it, and we need to grow it now. So how do we get there?
That was going to be my question.
How do we get there?
Where do you think that step?
Well, I
is?
think we've got pictures here of the new range we just built at PSE. It's about 20,000 feet. We can shoot 60 yards in there anyway, easy. You can shoot it crossways and shoot 20 yards, and they can shoot 100 shooters at one time.
Okay.
On the line at one time.
You got a picture of it up here on the semi, and it looks like a very nice open space to do this.
We put LED lights above it. I don't think mothers want to bring their kids into a shooting range that's dark and kind of like a dungeon or anything. They love the bright lights in there. They feel safe letting their kids stay there. We have great coaching. That's a big deal in the sport. We don't have enough great coaching. We got a lot of coaching, but we need great coaching. And we developed that with our American Archery Scholarship Fund guy, Alexander Kirilov. He's been with me 25 years, and I think he's the best there is in the world, and we get good results from him. So anyway, we built this range to figure out how we can get high school kids and grade school kids in there to play, but I want them to play in a different format. I don't like the Vegas rounds type stuff or NFAA indoor rounds or any of those. I don't think they promote the thing very well. So I don't know if we need to do animal rounds or some kind of a half animal round, I should say. But the game has to be way more fun, and we need to run it in skill levels like from 1 to 10. So if you're a 1 and you're a 10 and you go to a tournament every week and he beats the whale out of you every week, your wife's going to pull your kitchen permit. She's not going to.
You're right.
You go.
Absolutely.
I call it the kitchen permit. I kid about it, but it's true.
Right.
It's Levi Morgan's a great shooter. Broadwater's a great shooter. We got great shooters. You go to the tournament every week, and you're going to beat these guys? Not very often. But there's a lot of good guys out there, but they're not going to get weak. So how do we do that? We have to have tournaments for every level of archery, and that's what we're working on now. And without getting into too big of a discussion on it, we played it 25 years ago. We had a $100,000 tournament at PSE, and we did it at the golf course. And Jim Easton gave me $50,000, and I put $50,000 in it. We bought a new truck for a grand prize, and we played this team event. It's all team. And that's, I think, was the answer, is team, because individual archery doesn't cut it, because you don't have enough entries with it. You might have a tournament where I let you play on 3 different teams, but all different people. Okay. See, and so that's what we're looking at, and that we think can grow it. But we got to get it to where, the big dogs don't dominate. I should say, the big guys can't eat the babies.
Gotcha.
They can't eat. You got to keep the big dogs from eating the lambs.
Yep.
So, and we got to have just as much prize money for the average guys as there is, because there's way more of them. And actually, in our format, there'll probably be more money for the mid-level and low-level shooters, because there's way more of them.
Right.
So, and we hope we can graduate these people up to the top where they shoot really good and play there. So there's a lot of prize money there too, because it'll all be entry fee driven. And there'll be sponsorship from people in this room here, But we've got a lot of attention. You're just showing the picture of that range, so pretty neat. And but anyway. The women that are coming in there, bringing their kids in there for coaching, they feel comfortable leaving them there. I mean, it's bright, and you almost need sunglasses in the place, and it's pretty nice. So
it's beautiful.
We all did all the lighting tests, so it passes all the organizations' lighting minimums and stuff like that. We pass it easy, and we had a world record shot in there, the first little tournament we had about a month ago, and I asked all the guys, why are you going through all this messing around, getting this thing perfect for all this little bitty ragtag tournament we're having? He says, because if somebody shoots a world record, we want it to stick. I said, nobody's going to shoot a world record here in this thing. Come on. And he says, well, maybe in case. Well, one of our shooters from Phoenix, Cooper French, goes in there and shoots a world record that day. And shooting kind of next to Brady Ellison, who's a top shooter, Olympic guy, super shooter. And I heard somebody say, I wonder how he shot that world record today. And Brady said something like, and I said it kind of at the same time to somebody else, said, because of the lighting, stupid, And it's like, didn't say it that way, but
right.
But there's bright, easy to see kids like that can see the X ring.
Absolutely.
20 yards, they can see it.
That's the thing, you can
I
see it.
I can't see it.
Right.
You might be able to see it, but you can see it. I don't know
right,
what your ages are, but anyway, that just made a big deal. And so our range got everybody in the world saw that world record come out, and that day. So in 5 nanoseconds, the whole world knew how we had that range. So it's pretty neat, you know. So we need things like that. And Cooper is a great kid from Phoenix, and this kid lives archery, and he can shoot. This guy is dangerous. He really is. And he's in one of these kids that's been coached right, and he's in the upper 99.8% of who can really shoot, you know. So it's really neat to see that, you know. So we know with the right coaching we can grow these kids.
Yep, exactly.
You know? And it's like I tell people, I said, I don't care how fat, ugly, or short your kids are, can they stand still and do the same thing over and over again? They said, yeah. I said, well, we try to explain to them that we can make them really good target archers if they'll work, and they might be able to travel the whole world like Jenny Nichols, one of the gals that we had on the Olympic team 3 times in a row, won everything there was in the world, and over the 15-year period, but she worked at it, and she was a tremendous shooter, but she had a work ethic that was unbelievable. But it's possible to do that. You don't have to be a superstar on the basketball court or football or baseball or anything else. If you stand still and repeat your moves, we can make you a super shooter, you know. And I think that's one thing we've got going with this sport is we could have 98% of the kids that can qualify and play this game, you know, where they can't go play high school football or basketball.
Right.
So that's our plus. How do we get to them? We got to get them, and got to get them in the range, get them playing, having a good time, and then if the good ones will rise to the top, and we'll coach them, and we'll coach everybody. This industry can coach, just that we don't have enough top coaches yet. But we have some good ones, and but they'll spread around and they'll get paid. The coaches have to get paid, so it's because they have to make a living too, you know.
Yep.
So, but anyway, it's I think it's the time's right for doing this because everybody in this room knows that bow hunting's getting beat up, and it's a shame it's getting beat up. But you know, there's more private property, there's more everything, more competition. The crossbow compound crossbow that I invented, I didn't invent it for the intention of what it's gone to. I invented it so kids could start hunting earlier and be able to shoot deer, and older people that can't pull a bow anymore can still hunt. That's what I intended it for when I invented it in 1978. No one ever saw one before, and we couldn't give it couldn't get Fish and Game departments to open it up. But when Fish and Game people started doing less hunting, and the Fish and Game department needed to sell licenses, so they opened it up, and that's what happened. So it's kind of crippled some of the hunting, and they shoot a lot of deer. They're good at it with the crossbow. You can shoot a deer at 100 yards with one of these things. You know, they're good at it. So it's made the bow hunting world a lot easier. You know, maybe too easy. So that's just my take on it. Everybody's got their own take. But
no, absolutely.
And but how do we really grow the sport of archery? It has to be target archery now, I think, and bow hunting will take care of itself. You know, it's if we get people shooting. So, but the people in this room here need to have people come into their store 12 months a year. In bow hunting or hunting with a compound crossbow, you see them, those people you see them one day. The other hunters you see for 4 months, and then the archery shop starved to death for 8 months. You know, and that's a difficult problem.
That's right.
So we have to generate that business for people to come in, and the pro shop's got to do a good job keeping them. And a lot of pro shops do a really great job. I've talked to people here that got stuff going. I mean, really going good, and. The place in Colorado Springs, a store there that's really good.
We talked.
We had him on the show.
One in Idaho that's got a big range, high ceiling, can shoot 60 yards, and he's doing really good volume and good money in the game, and the guy's on the ball.
Do you think, speaking of the one in Colorado Springs, do you think maybe part of that answer is some of these pro shops having bigger facilities and promoting archery through that range and bringing people in?
Right.
Start that way?
If they can have a bigger range and afford it, that's really key. But they got to make use of it. So they got to have really proper coaching there. Mothers don't want to bring their kids into a place that's a dump.
Right.
They want it cleaned up and shiny, and I don't blame them. And that's what they want. But like that Colorado Springs store, their emphasis is on target archery, and I congratulate them. I think they're doing a great job. They just need to do 10 times more volume, you know, and get all the other stores doing the same thing.
Right.
And we can grow this sport, and I really believe it. And I've got a new game coming, and I think people are going to like it, and it'll be money game. It'll be playing for money. I think kids once they win a little trophy or two is one thing, but and I could get a lot of arguments on this, but if you're just even playing for $1, it makes it more interesting.
Got to be some competition. There's something to get at the end of that prize. That goal to reach for.
Yeah. So it's I team rope for fun, and the team roping world has got it's just crazy on how big it is now, and but they play for real money in the game. It costs some money to play, but it's not really a rich guy's sport. People figure out how to go play the game. It's fast, exciting, it's dangerous. You're on a horse, and it's got all the things that are kind of fun, But we can do the same with archery, and the same kind of a deal. And but I think it has to be done through team efforts, whether it's a 2-man team, 3-man team, 10-man team. And one of the things that I want to do is I'd like to, in 3 months, call. What town are you in?
We're up near Flint, Michigan.
Okay, the archery range there. Indoor archery range. Okay, let's say I call you guys up and say we're having a tournament Friday night. You get your top 20 guys, whatever you can, however many people you can have put together. You get your team there at the range, and we're going to all play for $10 a piece. And I'll get mine, and we'll get a team from Paris, France, Florida, all over the world. We're going to play a tournament online.
Okay.
Easy way to pay it off. I mean, you can all the way the money. You can do money handling online.
Right.
You can pay it off in a minute and have a great time. So how much could that grow? It could be infinite. I mean,
the digital world today, I think that
it could be crazy.
You're right where you need to be on that.
That'd be kind of fun for you guys to be looking at doing a tournament in your place and you're broadcasting it.
Yeah,
live.
Absolutely.
Right. It'd be pretty fun, wouldn't it?
Yep, absolutely.
So, it'll get to where there's commentation to it, and there'll be all kinds of other tricky things in it. It'll be where once you're online, you're going to have companies want to sponsor it because they need to see their stuff online.
Right.
So that'll bring more money into it. So it has all the right attributes, and I think I can make it work now. And
that is awesome.
So
that's a guy that thinks 24/7 about the sport.
That's right.
I live this sport. I've done it forever.
Well, and thinking ahead too.
Yeah.
I mean, the world's changed so much. I mean, 20 years ago we wouldn't be sitting here doing this on the internet.
That's right.
It's just the internet's changed things. Yeah. That's a great idea.
So it's I think it has lots of possibilities. I'm going to need some cooperation from other companies, but I think I can get it, and I think people like it. If I can enhance their sales and my company's sales, this will win it.
Right.
And but everybody in this room here, there's a lot of people in this room in this game. It's and they're all beat up pretty good now. I mean, it's tough. This business is tough, and we need a new breath of fresh air, and I think I can provide it. So
there you go.
Using modern technology to take something that's ages old.
Well, just if I could go around to every one of these booths and say, give me $100, we're going to have a tournament. How big could that tournament could be?
Huge.
Big one.
Yeah.
So that tournament we had 25 years ago, there's never been one bigger since or before. And it went really well. It was very well accepted. But people in the hierarchy of the other companies had a fit about it because they felt like I was going to dominate the whole world with it, And I was planning on it.
Right, exactly.
But the point is they made their shooters not come and stuff like that, so it kind of hurt it. So we just dropped it. And the archery world wasn't quite ready for it at that time, but I think people are ready for it now. I mean, you ask any kid around how much money Michael Jordan made.
Millions.
They just go pick the phone up, and go.
Yep.
500 billion,
Right.
They could tell you in a heartbeat. So money talks, and nothing else matters.
Right, exactly.
So,
that's awesome. That is something that astounds me about you and learning more about as we work together, and just how much you have thought and pre-thought down the road. You're not closed-minded, got the blinders on.
I'm pretty wide open for people, yeah.
You are, and it shows.
Yeah, so
that's what makes PSE the best.
I'm for growing the sport. I'll get my share.
Yeah.
And if I can grow it for everybody, it's even better, because we can make this, really big, and it works for the whole industry. That's what I'm looking for. So it's the culture now of the hunting and the fishing and stuff is getting beat up pretty bad, and I know if we had 500,000, target archers, how many of those guys are going bow hunting? 400,000 anyway.
Right.
So solves all the problems.
Yep. It gets these kids involved, gets them outside.
Yeah, and if you get kids involved, a lot of the landowners won't mind having the kids go in. Let the kids go in, and it'll work. So.
Yep. And that's better for the outdoors as well. I mean,
absolutely.
It all blends and meshes together.
Yeah. Well, we have to sell hunting licenses, and the Pittman-Roberts and tax that we pay on bows and arrows has to work for us.
Absolutely.
And that hasn't worked for us. And I've had discussions with fish and game departments about it, and a couple of them stopped at the plant, and I'd walk them right in the middle of the archery range, put a table out in the middle of it. They said, "What are we doing here?" I said, "We're having a meeting." I said, "I want you to see what this range feels like, So I want you to imagine 500 people in there shooting bows." And they said, "Well, it's hard to do." And I says, "Not for me." So
that's the vision you have.
So we get everybody on board with this thing, including fish and game departments, that they'll be able to see, in time what can really happen with a little bit of money out of them and some help on them. We'll be ahead of the game. We'll get it rolling. So.
And it's going to push them, like you said, back into fish and game. It's revolving.
Right. Yeah, and I tell these guys, fish and game departments, I said, "Look, you guys get taxed on all our target bows. You don't do anything to help us on target archery. In fact," I said, "you hinder us. Come on, quit hurting us. You just help us. You guys get paid 11% on a $1,500 target bow.
Right.
What's not to like about that? So let's have some of it back."
And the more of that you sell, the more money they get back on the Pittman-Roberts.
Absolutely, absolutely. They'll get their percentage like everybody else. So anyway, we'll make it work.
Well, it's a beautiful facility. I'll throw it up here one more time. We would like to see these all across the United States. So we can get kids involved in the outdoors, into target shooting, and then into the outdoors, into archery. So.
And these ranges don't have to be this big.
Right.
I just wanted a lot of people coming here, So we just cleaned up a warehouse and polished it up and put LED light bulbs in the ceiling, and it cost us $5,000 to do that. But the difference in light is crazy good, So.
Well, it polished up very nice.
Yep. Cleaned up good. We didn't know it was going to clean up that good, but it did. So
awesome.
Anyway, it's fun to do, and it's fun to show people, and you start having the same talk with people. I've done this talk 100 times now, and we're making baby steps, getting it rolling here now. So it's we know how to do tournaments, but we're looking for an event coordinator. We got Steve Yee in there now. He's very, very experienced guy from Phoenix, and he's very experienced in all the aspects of target archery and doing a great job. And so we need some people like you guys out and about showing people what we're talking about. Now I know I'll get some phone calls on this one.
Well, we can help facilitate. That's for sure.
Right.
Especially on our end. So,
good.
Pete, I appreciate you taking some time.
So,
you know what?
Same here.
It's an awesome idea, and it's not what I expected when we sat down to talk today. This was awesome.
Yeah,
and
good.
I appreciate it.
Good, thanks.
So let's all get out there and do our part.
Everybody does their part. This is going to work.
Acceleration is part of PSE's DNA. PSE pioneered the speed movement. Now they've developed the vapor category to help you find the most powerful bows on the market to fit you.
High speed equates to intense power and building the momentum you need to be successful. Are you a vapor shooter? Find out at PSEArchery.com.
Welcome back, ATA 2019. Finishing up our day here.
We are finishing up the 2019 ATA.
It's Saturday. The show's wrapping up. Pedro D'Amporo stops by. What a better way to culminate the whole week and have you stop by, man. I appreciate you stopping in.
The best for the last.
That's what I said.
Absolutely.
Save the best for last.
Thanks for having me, guys.
It's
a pleasure every year. So.
Yeah, last year we stopped and talked to you. You just gotten back from the Yukon, I believe, on the moose hunt, right?
Yeah, last year. Yeah.
And you popped that video, and that thing was close.
Yeah, it was beautiful hunt.
Like
when moose hunts work out and the bull finally comes to you, that's unreal.
Well, you said something in that video, and actually in our interview, things kept happening, and it didn't go right. And you said, nature's telling us something. We have to do something different. And you adapted and you did something different.
Yeah, you need to listen.
You need to listen. That's what it was. Yeah.
You just need to open your mind, listen, and be able to adapt. And we had a boat that just kept breaking, and it's like we don't have to use the boat. Let's go walking, and things work out. So
it was meant to be.
I would have maybe put holes in that boat and sank it.
Well, there was holes in the boat.
Well, obviously, I'd have made bigger holes to finish it off because it looked
was
like
more like a submarine than a
right?
boat.
Right. Well, something else in that video, and I watched another video earlier, and I got to ask you, you and your father, once your hunt's done and somebody's been successful, you sing to each other. You did it over the phone on one, and then when you were in the Yukon, you both sang. What are you singing? Because it's not in English.
No one knows. Like, it's a song that my dad got from the guy he started hunting with, because my grandfather was not a hunter, so he started hunting with a friend of my grandfather, and he had that song that it sounds like English, but I think once it was English, but it has to go through so many generations that now it doesn't make any sense. So.
Okay. but it's tradition.
Yeah. But it's tradition only on our family. It's not typical from.
That's what I meant. Yeah, it's your tradition, and every family has some kind of tradition.
So when there is like a special moment, a special animal that everything has been done right and all that, we sing it kind of for respect for the animal, kind of to like appreciate the moment. So
that's awesome.
You got that's one thing about what he does, and a lot of hunters out there, they have respect for the animals, and for what you go through to get your animals,
I got respect for that.
Got respect for that, because you've been up, down, around, high, low, warm, cold. You've done it all.
Yeah, but like, I think if you have fun, like, I have a hard time staying the whole day at the office in front of the computer. I think that's harder than being out there. Like, if you don't, and the more that you think that killing the animal is the important thing, you start like stressing yourself, thinking that that's the important thing. But when you relax and you start enjoying things, things naturally come together. So.
Well, that's one thing about your work, your film that you're putting out there is the hunt is about that much of it. When you look at the big picture and the scenery and like you said, it's more relaxing than it is the stress of, I have to go kill an animal. But that's awesome.
No, like, I just came back in December from Turkey. Has been my third trip to Turkey for hunting Besra ibex with the bow, and some people may say like, you're stupid. I mean, like, why you have to go 3 times, spend 22 days of hunting? But I think like through that, it allows you to discover the country more than anyone else, discover and appreciate the animals more than anyone else, because you have been 22 days hunting those animals, and enjoying that process and understanding that you are going there for spending 10 days in the mountains. I think that's the important thing.
That's awesome. Yeah. And just like you said, you went after an ibex.
Yeah.
Is there an ibex slam to get them all?
No. So like I just finished it's called the Capra World Slam. So it's getting 12 different species of ibex of around the world. So it must be from the goat family.
Okay.
So like species that would get into that slam will be like the mountain goat, the different Samis, Samoa subspecies around the world, all the ibex, all the marhorse, like all that goat family, and I just finished that. So
you just finished it, and how many other people have finished it?
3 more. So
you're number 4.
Yeah, number 4. Yeah. So.
And you're probably, are you the youngest one to do it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Well, look at that. You can only top yourself now.
No, but I think like I have never, like, some people is like, and what you're gonna do now? Like, keep hunting ibex. So it's like it's not like a goal. I think it's just like
it happened.
It's a consequence. You like hunting goats. You like traveling, and sooner or later you're gonna make it. So like, I have never tried to get or fill up the species one after the other. Like in Spain, we have 4 types of ibex, and it has taken me like more than 10 years to get the first subspecies.
Okay.
Because I like hunting the one that we have close home with my friends.
Oh yeah, okay.
And I have a bunch of those because it's close. They are my friends, so I haven't never been focused on like, let's shoot this one, let's go to the next one. It's like
You just hunt.
I like hunting with my friends, and
that's what makes hunting fun, right? Was when we're hunting with friends. That makes it a great camp. It makes it more enjoyable, more relaxing to be with friends.
Yeah. No, and hunting is not a competition, so it's not like, okay, you finish the Capra World Slam, it's like, good. It's good for you, but it's I mean, It's not like a competition or whatever.
Right.
So.
No, but it's still it's a, I don't know how I want to say it, but it's something you've achieved that very few people have.
No, it takes a lot of time.
A lot of time.
Like,
right.
And some people, like on those trips, they think that you pay a hand, you go and you kill an animal, but like Turkey took me three trips, 22 days.
Right.
Mongolia took me 2 trips. The Sami in Spain, the Cantabrian, another 3 trips. So it sounds easier than what it looks. And every day is going up, going down, going up.
Well, like you said, it just didn't happen in 1 year. You know, it took you years to get it. So it's not, I'm going to plan to do this, and by the end of the year, I'm going to have it done.
Right.
Good luck on that.
You know, something you talked about, the different countries and spending time in those countries, getting to know the people. That's something we talked about yesterday, and talk a little bit about the culture and some of the things that maybe people, we perceive people as maybe wanting something or living a certain way that you explained it, and it really opened my eyes that not everybody wants to be like us. You know, talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so when you travel, it broadens your mind because, first of all, when we on the hunting areas, you go to the real local people. So it's not like the travel agencies that they put you the show together of the African people jumping and it's beautiful. No, you go to really rural areas with really local people. That's how they live. So you get to spend over a week living in their tents, using their horses, eating their food, their water, you know. So you get to really know how they live and understand how they live. And it opens your mind because you understand that what you said, like, not everyone wants to live like we live.
Right.
Not everyone wants to go shopping on a mall or have a TV, 2 cars, 1 house. And we tend to try to solve other people's problems with our point of view, and it's a big mistake.
And your point of view is not for everyone.
No.
Just like when we in the hunting industry, when we say, tell them, well, we shoot a PSE, but you go shoot it because you might not like it or whatever, and it's that way you get your feet grounded is to their culture, right? So then you see where they're coming from.
Yeah. So I think traveling gives you a complete different perspective, and it gets you, I don't know how to say it properly, but your soul like very rich. I don't know.
It enriches your soul of knowledge of others. Is what happens,
and you appreciate what you don't have.
There you go.
Right.
Because like when you spend 10 days without light or without a bed, without a chair, you'd appreciate when you get home and like I'm complaining because my Wi-Fi is not quick enough.
Right.
It's like, or because I don't have Wi-Fi on my airplane, you know, like.
Yeah. Or the Wi-Fi is not working here and knocking us offline. So we've been dealing with that. But no, I got to imagine it humbles you to a degree, you know. And when you said that yesterday, it really did. It opened my eyes to some things. It's like, well, you know what? Yeah, nobody else has to live like we do. We don't have to live like everybody. And if everybody thought that way, I think things in the world would be a lot better.
Yeah, when you spend a lot of time also outside with time and you have time to think, I think it allows you to think which are the real important stuff in comparison to which are the urgent stuff that we fill up our brains on a daily basis, like this is super important, and it really is not. So you need to slow down, take the phone out, and like think about which are the really important things, which might be a talk with your buddy around the tents, talking about super non-important things. That might be more important than checking Facebook.
And it's more relaxing.
Yeah.
There's no stress. You're just having a good time between 2 buddies, maybe by a campfire, just whatever
enjoying a good
talk
drink,
about,
you know, or eating some good food. You know, it's something simple, like fresh back straps. Although I remember, I think it was you talked about the bacon. You got to the point where you wanted the fresh back straps and forget the bacon because you'd had bacon so many times.
Yeah.
So, but just those little tiny moments that that you learn to appreciate. Hunting with your dad. This year I didn't get to hunt with my dad. He's out of state, and it's the first year. So, when I look back on those things, those are the important things. Kids, family.
Yeah, no, and we are every day on our daily basis. We are running everywhere. Everything seems like it's super important. Like if I don't do it today,
it won't get done.
And then you spend 2 weeks outside without internet, and the world keeps moving. And you think that you are super important on your company, or that no one can leave.
There's even a point now, and it's kind of sad that they're now starting to have outdoor camps for kids, and purposely having them not have a phone, not have internet. Just almost like reprogramming that you're not always holding the phone.
Don't need to be connected.
Nope. You're going to go for 2 weeks away, and you're going to learn about the outdoors because.
No, it's impressive. Like from my friends and the people I grew up with, how many of those guys have never camped outside? They have never camped outside, or they have never go out, like
sleep under the stars.
I think that sometimes we focus a lot on trying to convince the anti-hunters of what, but I think that what we need to do is take normal people around us, take them hunting, show them, and convince those people and get them outdoors so they think about it.
Enrich their lives while enriching your own, because and another thing that you bring up as well is, like you talked about other cultures and stuff. Just because it might be different than yours, that's fine. Don't be mad at them.
No, and like through hunting, no matter if you are like from Mongolia or from Spain, or you have like super economically you have a lot of money, or you are poor or whatever, through hunting you get a connection that breaks all
barriers.
All barriers, from languages, economical situation, culture, religion, everything.
You're all trying to do the same thing and accomplish the same thing by hunting.
Yeah.
I got to imagine,
special.
If you're not talking the same language, universally when you do this, everybody knows what that is in the hunting world.
And big.
Yeah, big.
Right.
Exactly. So we all speak that language.
Right.
And talk about going around the world. Let's shift gears just a little bit. Something we talked about yesterday about the training process, because you're up in the mountains, up and down every day, doing a lot of climbing. It's not just so much the climbing, you said, also, but the terrain with your legs and your feet, because of you're stepping on rocks, and things of that nature that you need to take into consideration as well.
Yeah, so I think the most typical mistake from people is like when they try to get in shape, they go running, which is great because it's a great conditioning, great cardio, you lose weight, so it has a lot of advantages, but it makes a huge difference when you put a heavy backpack on, uneven terrain, and you just climb.
Okay.
You need a lot of endurance and a lot of strength on your leg. Not only on your legs, but on your whole body, because since what you were saying, the terrain is not even and the rocks slide, you need to move. So you are constantly moving that balance, so you need the whole.
Right, you need
core.
the whole.
Yeah, you need to work on the whole core. And that's what most of the people don't train. So I like hiking up with a backpack. Water bottles are awesome because you get to the top, you release the water, and you can come down without weight on your legs.
Now,
so like the joints don't suffer that much on the way down.
From what you were saying yesterday, you need your camera guys to be able to do this as well. And
yeah, I mean, like filming, like optics is the main problem about the weight, because like camera gear is heavy, spotting scope are heavy, the tripods are heavy. So
So you're thinking about 60 pounds on the pack with all that stuff?
Yeah, 60 pounds
60
is
pounds?
like average in between like 50, 60 pounds.
Yeah, everybody says,
and if you shoot something
more.
Yeah, way more.
They think, well, I can lift 60 pounds. Well, put it on your back and carry it all day, and then do it uphill and do it on a terrain that's not even.
And do it for 10 days.
And 10 days on top of that.
Because it's not like one day you go home, you relax, you take a shower. No, it's like one day after the other.
Right.
So you need like to be very conservative on those hunts. Like little mistakes starts wearing you out, and on day 10 maybe like, I don't know, like sweating your shirt and getting a little bit cold, like those little mistakes, or getting the socks a little bit humid and not drying them off properly during the night or whatever, those things start wearing you out.
Those can lead to bigger mistakes.
It also wears out his cameraman, from what we've learned, that he has to have different cameramen.
You've gone through a few?
A few.
Okay.
A few. Might be my personality. I don't know. So.
I don't think that's probably. I think they just can't keep up with you.
No, but you need a lot of passion. Like
Absolutely.
If you are like crazy doing what you love, you forget about the pain, about the...
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's the endurance, it's that passion, that drive that keeps pushing you to the goal, right? You want to achieve.
Absolutely.
So we get to be pretty obsessive. Yeah. So
now we talked about the camera guys. We've watched a lot of your videos. Who edits your videos?
My wife.
Your wife?
Yeah, my wife is doing most of the editing. So I think she has a way better taste than us, and she can really take out the things that are not important for the story of the...
She's got a good eye for the story.
Yeah, and she can take out the things that really doesn't matter. Like if I would be editing that, since I live the story, I would be like, we need to put that because that moment was... And she's like, it doesn't really give much to the story, so let's take it out. Or like...
It actually, by having her do it, gives a different perspective. You lived it. She's watching it, so you're trying to live it through the video. So now she obviously has the eye because it's really good editing.
And I think she knows me.
Yeah, probably.
So she also knows how I am or how I feel the things or whatever. So I think that maybe you give it to someone else that doesn't know you and they don't get how you understand the hunting. And
I get so saying, yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
So what's on your agenda for this year? Where are we going from here?
I think I want to go to Pakistan this year to hunt ibex on the southern part that I have never been on the south part of Pakistan. Maybe a couple of chamois hunts around Europe, and maybe going back to Mongolia. I would like to go back to Mongolia.
Okay.
I have such a great time this year. So.
Archery? Firearm?
Mostly archery, but I'm also hunting with the rifle. There is some countries, especially in Europe and in Asia, that it's illegal to bow hunt.
Okay, yeah, I have heard that.
Yeah, but I still want to know Russia, I still want to know Kazakhstan. So if I have to go with a rifle, I think the weapon doesn't make the hunter.
Right.
It's how you hunt, and the weapon is just what you're using, but you can still have fun with the whole experience.
Exactly.
Well, we'd be remiss if we didn't ask, because we're in the PSE booth. What are you shooting this year?
The Expedite.
Expedite. Okay.
The same as last year.
Okay.
But now they came with a new camo pattern, so...
I heard something about that.
I'm pretty stoked about it. So, so I don't need to dip my bows again.
Right.
But the Expedite gives you that extra speed.
Extra speed.
That for mountain hunts you need speed for long range shots.
Yep, exactly. That's it. You know what? Bill Epperts
said the same thing.
And
actually, Pete, I think, said it about getting a faster bow because he's not perfect shooting. So there you go.
For long range, like you need that arrow to get there as quick as possible. You need to control the drop, because if the drop is too much, like 1 meter, it's going to make a big difference. So,
I think you alluded to a little bit of that. I think yesterday you were talking about on one of the films. You were talking about a specific shot. You were shooting downhill.
Yeah. The one in Mongolia was like really, really steep down. Yeah. So that fast bow helps you with that.
Now, is that something that's not been yet released on video?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
So stay tuned, right? So when's it going to be released?
I don't know.
Okay.
But we have a bunch. Like this year, we filmed New Zealand for Tara and Shami. We film in Norway. We film in Mongolia. We have film in Turkey. So there is a bunch of films coming out soon. So I think you guys are gonna like it.
And where can we find them at for those out there that are watching?
Mainly through Kuyu, through Kuyu main YouTube channel.
So just get it over there.
Yeah. So
check out the YouTube channel.
Check out YouTube Kuyu and.
On the social media channels that we have, just to be sure.
Right.
And then that's another thing. If he's going to be coming out with different videos, they're going to have content all year to watch his amazing film work.
That is awesome. Well, I'll tell you what, wish you a lot of luck.
Hey, thanks a lot for having me.
Yep.
It's every year. Hope to see you guys.
Absolutely.
We'll see you in Indianapolis.
Yeah,
we're going. Next year's Indianapolis, we'll get the up-to-date version of how his year went.
And don't forget, you can catch us in syndication at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on GoodTalkRadio.com. This episode was brought to you by PSE Archery,
Carbon Express,
Fourth Arrow Camera Arms,
Winscent Hunting Scents,
Killer Food Plots, Seeds, Supplements, and Attractants,
Cabela's,
Spot Shooters,
Limb Walker Game Calls,
Twisted Minds Bowstrings,
Hunter's Blend Coffee,
Antler Action,
and family traditions tree stands.
Thanks for listening, and join us again here next week. Until then, remember, as we always like to say, if you're out on the water or in the woods, shoot straight and be safe until next week on the Up North Journal.